There are even more questions now about Congressman George Santos' spending habits. A complaint filed with the Federal Election Commission shows dozens of campaign filings it calls impossible. During the campaign, Santos recorded 37 payments of exactly $199.99. The complaint alleges those filings were deliberate. Our Caitlin Huey-Burns is following the money.
George Santos is distancing himself from his controversial campaign finance filings.
I have no clue what you're talking about, ma'am.
The New York Republican submitted this amended finance report that now says he did not use his personal funds to loan $500,000 to his campaign, raising questions about where the money came from. Signing off on the new filing,
I'm pleased to be here with you today.
This is Nancy Marks, Santos's campaign treasurer.
Well, she filed all of his reports, which means she should have known whether they were true or false when she filed them as the treasurer, and she had that legal responsibility.
Hi, Nancy. My name is Caitlin Huey-Burns. I'm a correspondent for CBS News.
Marks didn't return our call, so earlier this week, we showed up at a meeting for a Long Island library where she serves as a board member. We found her seat empty and community members also searching for answers.
Now she's sitting on the board of trustees with taxpayer dollars.
Nancy Marks serves in an unpaid voluntary capacity on this board.
She also signed off on Santos's expenses, which revealed an unusual spending pattern, 37 charges of $199.99, 1 cent below the threshold that requires an invoice or a receipt.
The quantity of transactions just under the receipt threshold is unprecedented.
After the meeting, we tried Nancy Marks one more time at her home where she runs her business. The lights were on, but no one came to the door.
CBS News political correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns joins me now. Caitlin, out of all the things that Santos is accused of doing, why does this stand out?
Yeah, John, and it's a long list, but this stands out because this has to do with campaign finance potential violations. We spoke to an expert with the Campaign Legal Center who has raised a lot of red flags about Santos's behavior when it comes to this and said, look, making up things about your background, fabricating your resume, that's all, should deserve scrutiny, but that is nothing compared to the idea of potentially lying on a federal document, and that's why this could matter here. We already know that House Republican leadership is willing to let Santos remain in Congress given all of the fabrications that have come out, but this is also an element where if there is legal exposure, and there could be, this could be the thing that kind of ultimately leads to him having to exit. Now, it's still a big if, there's still a lot of questions, but the point is that these amendments to this new filing have certainly raised a lot more questions than answers.
All right, let's switch gears now to the debt ceiling discussion or lack of discussion. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy wants spending cuts in exchange for lifting the debt ceiling. Senator Joe Manchin has spoken to the Republican House Speaker to try and get these negotiations moving. What do you know about what House Republicans might be thinking about in terms of specifics, in terms of budget cuts that they would want to raise the debt ceiling? And of course, we should remind everybody the White House doesn't want to engage in negotiations at all. They think the House should just raise the debt ceiling and move on.
Exactly, and no Democrat up here really on Capitol Hill wants to use the debt ceiling as a negotiating tool. Joe Manchin is in a different kind of position because he's up for re-election coming up in 2024, and he has, has been trying to work across the aisle. But what's interesting, John, is that, there are talks potentially of some kinds of cuts to Social Security and Medicare, and former President Donald Trump has actually weighed in, urging House Republicans not to support any cuts to those programs. Of course, as you know very well, any sort of changes would really rile up key constituencies. But it also, is worth noting that the negotiations, haven't really begun. They're just a lot of talk about what they kind of want. And the key here for McCarthy is, trying to negotiate with a very fractured conference, as has been revealed by that speakership fight. I was talking to a top top Democrat on the House Budget Committee, who said that, look, Democrats are not willing at all to negotiate on the debt limit, but we are potentially, wanting to have conversations about, some cuts to spending, making the point that the debt limit is about spending that's already occurred, and these conversations about cuts would be about spending that is yet to come. So that, could be an opening here, but again, few Democrats willing to compromise on raising the debt ceiling at all.
That's right. And the Speaker will have trouble if he agrees to any kind of cuts that aren't very significant, because he'll have some of his members who really do want significant cuts and won't support him. So he's got a tricky path to walk there. Speaking of the Speaker, he bounced a couple of Democrats, Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell, from the House Intelligence Committee. Tell us about that.
Yeah, Adam Schiff, who used to chair the House Intelligence Committee, no longer being able to serve on it. Democrats have called this a retaliatory measure by the House Speaker. They say that, in the previous Congress, Democrats kicked off people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and others from committee assignments, given controversial statements that they had made. So this is seen, at least by Democrats, as a kind of tit for tat here. For his part, the Speaker says that he has concerns about the ways in which Swalwell and Schiff have conducted themselves and shouldn't be on committees involving intelligence, and kind of spoke to the significance of the Intelligence Committee, these members, having access to information that very few members of Congress have. So this is also kind of a way to really energize the Republican conference at this point. And it's worth noting, too, that McCarthy has seated Marjorie Taylor Greene back on committees, back on some prominent committees, because she was a key ally of his during that speakership fight, and he rewarded her for that.
All right, Caitlin Huey-Burns, thanks so much.
Thank you.